Welcome back to the workbench, where we are continuing to work on the 1995 Monogram kit. It's the number 3 Goodwrench Dale Earnhardt kit. We've been working on this one. This is the one I picked up off eBay years and years ago. It's actually from 1995, or the manufacturing date on this was. It's the 95 car. Now, I picked it up on eBay years ago, and it didn't have the wheels and tires. Turns out it didn't have the wheels and tires, so it's an incomplete kit. So we're going to build kind of a garage scene out of it, I think, just up on jack stands and whatnot. But what we're working on right now is the chassis, or what we just finished working on is the chassis itself. We had also finished up the motor, which we tried to make look kind of race used. Gave it a little dirt and grime, making it a race used motor. And then last episode, we finished up the chassis. And in fact, it's a little bit of a lie. I forgot in between episodes, I realized that we didn't put this cross brace up top here, this guy right here. So I actually just went ahead and put that in between episodes just so we'd have it complete and be back where we're supposed to be for this episode. But yeah, I went ahead and just put this piece in. I had it was already painted up and whatnot. I just need to glue it in. Now, we also finished up, I guess here, and what we're going to do, we're going to wait on putting in this back frame brace just so we can see where it fits with the body. It's going to go right back here, but I'm not sure exactly how that needs to fit in, so we're going to wait on that, and we're going to work on trying to get completed is, let me move this over for you guys, is the rear suspension. In fact, I'm going to try to get the rear suspension in and hopefully get the motor in and whatnot today. So let's get to work so we can get that done. Now, I've got the rear end, I don't even know what they're calling. They had a weird name for this, just the arm assembly, the trailing arms and whatnot here. I've got it all glued up, painted up, all that. What we need to do now is so we have 2 rear coilovers, and I've kind of test fitted this a little bit. Because actually, I take that back. You know what we finished with was we put in this oil can. We had to shave that down. If you go back and watch last episode, it actually took a little work to get this oil can in. It doesn't really fit. I think we came to realize that this tub here, because it actually had a 1990 date on it. I think it's used for a lot of different models. That didn't fit real well, but we need to get the shocks in. Now, I was trying to dry fit this before, and it looks like, because we want to make sure that this is, everything lines up. So we have to have shocks, coilovers, and then this rear end all kind of line up. So I think we're going to try to assemble all this basically at the same time. I think we're going to have to, so we can kind of get everything to meet up where it needs to go. So let's just try that. What I think, I've already cleaned up all, well, no, I haven't. I take that back. I cleaned up everything but where this shock brace attaches here. So I'm going to clean up some of the paint down in here and get that out of here so we can get a good glue spot for that cross brace that's holding our shocks. Let me make sure, you know what, I'm going to use the sanding stick to just kind of take off the paint on the bottom of this. I don't want to change the plastic itself, though. I don't want to shave off any of the plastic because then it's not going to fit right. So I'm just very carefully just removing the paint that we have on here. Okay, that's going to work for that. Let's make sure we got everything as it should be. This assembly, there's the 2 tabs here, and then they're going to meet up front here. So what I think I'm going to do, let me think about this just a second. I'm definitely going to make this glue point. I wonder if, here's an idea that just kind of came in my brain. It's usually a bad idea when it just comes in my brain, but we're going to try it here, I think. What if I make the connections up front, leave it loose in the back? Because the only place this connects is this right here. It connects right in the back there. What if I leave that loose and then I can go in? Well, if I put in I could probably get the shocks where they need to go, not glue into here still, and then get the coilovers in. Here's why I'm overthinking this. You're supposed to go in and glue the shocks in here, glue the suspension or the coilovers here, and then you go to put it together and it's all not fitting. You need to get it all as one piece, if that makes sense. So I think that's what we're going to do. What I'm going to do, I'm going to clean out here, and I'm going to make these connections up front here, leave it loose in the back, and then just kind of fit the pieces in to where they need to go. I think that's going to be our best game plan. Or you're going to watch a magnificent failure about to occur here. Either way, it's going to be fun for you guys. Let me get this paint cleaned off like this. Okay, good. And then where does where does these connect up front here? So we got two pieces right up front here. Make sure you can see what I'm doing. These two pieces, they glue in. Let me line this up. Yeah, these go here on those tabs, and then they kind of just, oh, they just, on the ends of them, just, oh, I see. There's a little ledge there and a little ledge there. That's where they're going to glue in. So there's just the smallest of ledges right here that we're going to glue to, and right there. Hopefully you guys can kind of see that small little ledge that these just kind of sit on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the paint off the ends of these. I'll just sand off the paint here. Just the little bit that we need. I don't want to take too much. I don't know how well you probably won't even see this side of it, but I still want to keep them painted, you know, as best I can at least. Okay, so that'll work. So now what I think I'm going to do, we'll get our bottle cap, because I like to just lay, actually with this, with this I probably don't even need the cap. I could probably come in here and just put a drop of glue right there. Yep. Right there. A lot of times I use a bottle cap and a paper clip or toothpick or something, just so I can really pinpoint the glue, but this I think is all right. Right there, just like that. And I'll glue up this front side here, or the front 4 connections, leave the back loose. Just make sure we get this where it goes, like that. And then I bet I can, this one fits real well. This one, there we go. They need to go there and there. It's kind of holding itself, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a little weight on them right now. And then I bet if I put one up front here, that'll hold that down. Yep, I think so. Okay, in fact, let's move this out of the way just a little bit. I'll set it up right here. Whoa, don't fall over. Let's see, what can I set under the front end? There we go. This is always the Jenga game that you play, is how can I get stuff stacked on to hold stuff in place while glue dries. So yeah, anyways, it's sitting on my coilover. Give me that. There we go. Okay, so now we've got our coilovers and we got our shocks that we're going to have to get in there, which hopefully we can, now that I made this choice. And then, you know what we need to put, we should do this last. We've got to put, let's see, I think I have these, where do I have these pieces? Here we go. We've got the coolant pump, or the rear pump for the rear end. And I know I have, yep, the pulley is in the monkey head. So I kept it in the monkey head all this time so we wouldn't lose it, and it worked. So this is what does this go on? Oh, it goes on this way. We can probably glue these together while we wait. So we've got a pump, fluid pump for the rear end that's going to go, on like this. And then we've got the big side goes over here. The big pulley, goes on this side. It's going to glue in. Let me make sure. Is this going to fit? Why is that not fitting? Yeah, like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this up now. Just to let you know, I pre-painted this. Pre-painted the pump aluminum. Can't even get the pulley out now. And what I did with the same thing with the pulleys and belts on the engine, I painted all flat black, and then I went back and painted the pulleys themselves. I don't know how well you guys can see it, a semi-gloss. So it gives it's all black, but there's a different sheen between the belt and the pulley, which I think really, helps it give it a little better look. Let me go ahead and clean out these holes. We'll do all this while our chassis, or at least our suspension's gluing up over there. That'll work. And let's see if I can get this. Just need to scrape a little bit of the glue or the paint off of these pegs where this is going to glue up without destroying the peg themselves. So you got to be a little bit careful. Obviously, don't cut the peg itself off. Then you're going to have trouble locating. Okay. And now I'll just use our Starbond CA. Again, if you need a discount on some good CA glue, go down to this, look down in the description. I've got you a discount for Starbond CA. It's very good glue. And they have all different kinds. Even if you're a woodworker or whatever you do, they have a CA glue for you. Let's see, and it was big side over here. You be very careful. The one thing you don't want to do is get CA glue on your fingers, so I'm going to try not to. There we go. All right, we can let that glue up now, so that's good. So we've got that piece, and then we're also going to have this cooler cover, which goes on, I think, yeah, this opposite side. Where does it go? I want to make sure. Oh, it goes up under there. Oh, we probably should have put, whoops. We probably should have put that on before. Okay, we'll fight to get that in first. Probably should have put that on before putting the rear end in. I wasn't paying attention, but I think we can get it in. It's going to go in. I know you guys maybe can't see very well, but it's right underneath this trailing arm here. I think we can get it tucked up under there, no problem. Which here is the piece itself. I've got it pulled out today. Yeah, and I've already sanded it down to be glued in, so that's good. All right, let's see how we're doing here with our glue up. Yep, I think that's pretty good. So now we should be pretty well attached here and then loose here. Yeah, I think we go ahead, first thing first, we go ahead and try to get this cooling cover, which faces this way and then just is going to go right in there. Let me pull a little of the paint off here so we have a glue up surface. I think that's going to be okay. I'm going to put the glue there, and this time I am going to use, in fact, I'm going to get me a new paper clip. This one's gotten a little gummed up. To the trash it goes. And let me get me I'm just going to use a new paper clip. Usually I use, to do this kind of, what I'm about to do here, I'll usually use toothpicks, but I'm out. And I had paper clips sitting by. So this actually works. Toothpicks are just a little more economical way to do it. So let me put some glue in our bottle cap here. And I always just have bottle caps laying around that I use to either for paint or anything really. Most important part is just make sure they're clean. Don't use a dirty bottle cap if you're going to do what I do. And I'm just going to touch a drop of glue right there and touch a drop of glue on the other side here. Yes, and then move the glue far away. I've learned the lesson of just get it away. Otherwise, you'll end up getting something in it that you don't want in the glue. Now, where am I? Here they are. I wonder if I can get this in there with the tweezers where it needs to go. Obviously, this would have been easier to do prior to putting the suspension in, but I think we're going to be okay. We'll get it. Whoops. It's going to go right there. And it's chrome. It's one of the chrome-plated pieces, just like the oil can here. I don't think on the real car they'd be chrome. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. To me, there wouldn't be any chrome. I wouldn't think there'd be any chrome on the car. Why would you chrome things? I don't know. It seems like they would be bare aluminum or just painted or whatever. I don't know. But I left it chrome. It was chrome plated. One of the chrome plated pieces. So I just left it that way. Now, what is our order of operation here? I think we're going to go with the shocks first. Now, the thing is I need to see. I think I can just bring them in right through here. Yeah. And then now, because the rear end's already in place, I'll be able to get them. I'm just dry fitting now, but I can get them in there, and then we can make the connection. Oh, this is something I got to think about. I can at least, what I can do, here's what I can do is just, yeah, because see, they don't sit exactly straight up and down, because it does show them connecting to the back side. Yeah, this little arrow here says it connects to the back side of the rear end, and it shows the shocks on the back side of the brace there, and this brace is sitting in place. So here's my point is, I don't know how well you guys can see it. They don't sit when they're in place. They don't sit exactly straight up and down. They have just a touch back. So if I went in and glued those straight up and down, which is what I think the normal person would do, they say, oh, put the shocks in, you put them as straight up and down as you can, and then your rear end sits on them, and they're in the way. So this is why I try to do things like this. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue down in there, make the connections out there. I'm not going to make the glue connections here because I'm going to have to put the coilovers in. So I'm going to let this dry up where it needs to be. And then that way I can make the glue connection here, and it's easy. It's right there. It's just a matter of putting glue in. And then I know my coilovers are going to be in place also. I might be overthinking it. I don't know, but I've done enough of these to know that you can get yourself in trouble if you're not careful. So again, with my paper clip now, I can take a touch of glue and just come right. I can pinpoint my spot, my location where I need to put it right there. And then when I come in this side, let's see, I can go right there. Uh-oh, I got a little girl yelling at me. What is it, sweetie? Yeah, I'm making a video. Okay, I'll be down in a second. This is the weekend, so my daughter is home. So let me get a touch of glue right down there. Now I think I'll probably need the tweezers. What's my best way to get in here? I'll use the tweezers. Put that in place. Now I got to make sure that I stand them up where they need to be. So I'm going to stand that up, but I also got to make sure my brace is where it needs to be. So I'm just looking at that. I'm going to give it a little pressure down here on the brace itself. I'm using my thumb to hold the shocks in place, I guess you could say. And now I'm going to use my tweezers and just push down to get the brace in place. We'll just hold this just a second. It usually takes about 30 seconds to get a good bond, at least a good enough bond where you can let it go without activator. I could have, again, sprayed activator on this, but there's no going back if you do that. Once I'd placed it, it would have been stuck. So I like to do it this way. Now let me stand this back up and see if my shocks will stay in place. They pretty well are. Let me make sure where we want to be. I think we're going to be good right there. I'm going to let that dry just a second because I want to make sure that brace on the bottom is nice and bonded. We can definitely we'll definitely be able to get our shocks where they need to be. That's no problem. So I think what we'll do next is put in the coilovers, and I think with the coilovers, I'll just glue them top and bottom so that then that kind of sets these rear trailing arms. And then I can make the connection for our shocks and for this guy here right back by the fuel tank here. I think that'll be a good plan. All right, so let's let that dry up just a little bit. And while I do that, I haven't. Let me clean up these pieces here so we have glue spots. So this goes... and they're going to go in. So I'm going to clean a line across here because it's going to glue to this trailing arm. So let me see if I can just get it on either side clean off the paint on either side of the peg. We'll use the peg to align, but we'll use this flat surface as our glue up surface. I've already cleaned up the underside of that. We'll do the same thing down here, but it just connects here at the end of the shaft here. Let me do the same thing to this one. Like so. And then we'll clean up just the end of this little tip here where we're going to have our glue. Okay. I think that's going to be okay. Let's see if I can get... let's see if we can make this happen. I'm going to do one side. I think I'll do one side at a time. I'll just start on the driver's side, or what is this, the passenger side. I'm just going to put a touch of glue here. That's where our little tip end is going to go. And then I need to put glue here. And now let's see if I can make this happen. This is going to be a little bit tricky, almost like the old ship in a bottle kind of thing. Let's see if we can slide this in there. I'm going to go top side first, get that peg in, and then the question is that in place? I don't think so. I don't think it's in. There it went. Fell in. No, it didn't. It fell to the side, didn't it? Let me see if I can just use my fingers. I need to turn this. Also. There it is. Turn it so that line that I made is on line. There we go. Let's let that sit like that. I wonder if I put something there and then put this here. Okay, we'll let that hold it. I think we'll get that side locked in place just like that. Let me make sure our shocks are still good. They are. That is, yeah, I think that's exact. It seemed to fall in a hole, so I'm pretty sure that's where that coilover needs to go, and it looks nice and straight, so I think that's how it's supposed to be. We'll let that dry up right there. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. I think we should get it to fall into place pretty easily. We got to put this guy on. We did that, and then that'll have us done to there. And then actually the next step is putting in the motor, which is always kind of fun to me, to actually glue in the motor. And then we got exhaust, drive shaft, a couple of braces, and that's got step 5 done. We can literally turn the page. By the way, I already did paint the drive shaft also. It's just the U-joints, the ends here are steel. They called for steel and then flat white. The shaft of the drive shaft is flat white, so I went ahead and painted that out. I also have our exhaust, which I just had to do a bunch of sanding on. It had a lot of mold lines and flashing and whatnot, so I had to sand all that down. And then we painted it steel, and that's going to go in wherever it's going to sit in here, and it'll look real nice on this red, I think. How we look in here? I always want to, grab it and move on, but I always then, okay, give it 30 more seconds, and then give it 30 more seconds. Yeah, but at some point you got to just move on. Let's see how we're doing. I think we're okay. Let's let that sit just like that, and we'll just carefully go to the other side. Make sure that doesn't come loose. Yeah, I think we're okay. All right, so we'll just do the same thing on this side. I'm gonna put a touch of glue down in that little hole there where that shaft of that coilover goes. Okay, and then I will find our other coilover. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. All right, and put glue right across that line that we kind of made here, where we pulled the paint off. And then that we got to make sure, just like on the other one, we got to make sure that line lines up with the trailing arm so that we get a good glue surface. I think I'll use the tweezers again like I did last time. I went top side first and then put that in. Okay. Is that in the hole? Yeah, I think that's everything. So let's just do the same thing. I'll put our paint can here to hold this from rocking back. I'll set this side. There we go. Okay, that was actually easier than I thought it was. Now we just, that shock there is literally, can you see where, hopefully you can see where I'm pointing this. The passenger side shock is sitting right in place. It's sitting right on where it needs to be. The driver's side, I think it's going to have to move forward a 64th of an inch. Like it's just barely, in fact, I can probably, no, it's sitting solid. So it's actually right there. Okay, so I just got to kind of put a touch of glue in there, and that'll hold that solid. Hit this guy in the back, and then I think we're going to be good. I'm happy about that. And I'm looking right now. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I'm looking down at the drive shaft here, and we look pretty centered, because this is another thing I always worry about. Let me look over the top side. Yeah, it looks pretty centered up and not cockeyed. Like it looks straight across. What I'm talking about is the actual rear end. So the wheels should line up in the wheel wells. Again, you get these old kits and they sit around forever. This thing was manufactured in 1995. This chassis tub had a date printed on it from 1990. So these have, I don't know where, but before I bought this, I know since I bought it, it's just set in a closet in an air-conditioned room. So it's been probably pretty fine. But before that, I don't know where this could be in an attic. It could be in a garage. It could be hot, cold. These things the plastic just warps and twists. I've done enough of them to where, you put it together just as you should. And then the rear end's all crooked because it's all twisted out of shape. And you got a wheel that's way up forward or way up back and a wheel well. And there's nothing you could have really done about it. So as you build, if you've noticed, if you go back through the episodes, by the way, if you want to check out previous episodes, just go to the playlist. As I'm building these out, I'm constantly checking to make sure we're square. Like, let's pull this square. We had to do it a little bit with some of our sidebars. We had to kind of pull it square onto the chassis tub, especially up front here. The driver's side, I believe it was. No, I think it was the passenger side one. The driver's side kind of laid right in place as it should, so it hadn't flexed at all. The passenger side was cocked way off to the side, so we just had to make sure and pull all that square and make sure. And that's what's good about these race cars too, though, is they have a roll cage where everything can get pulled square on each other. Anyways, but you just have to make a mental awareness of that with these old kits, if that could be an issue. So are we getting glued up? Just a quick story while our while our glue dries. But it's definitely always on the front of my mind as I'm building this. Oh, here's the date. Look, I can see right here. Copyright 1990. Right here on the back end of this tub. The copyright on the box itself is 1995, and this is actually the 1995 car. Pretty positive. I guess I should probably look this stuff up before I start saying it, but I'm pretty positive they went to this body style, this new kind of Aero. It's more of a sleeker, it's really a less stocky looking car. I believe that was in 95. And this is definitely a 1995 model. There's a date. In fact, I can show you the date here, 1995 by Revell Monogram, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, but there, yeah, interestingly enough, there's a date printed right here. Says, is that MMI 1990? Yeah. Interesting. Right? Huh. Okay. Anyways, this should be glued up. Let's go ahead now and just quickly make our connections for I think we'll do our shocks first. The way I'm going to do this, I'm going to go ahead and just grab just a touch of glue like this. See if I can use the tweezers to pull the shock back a little bit. Let me I'm holding the back end of the chassis tub with the palm of my hand. And then let me just give a little, if I can make a little, this is where you need more fingers than you have. I'm going to have to hold this side of the chassis with my finger. Okay, let's see. How can I get this to pull back? There we go. There we go. And then what's nice is it's going to snap right back in place and glue for us. But that's the advantage of, I guess it turned out to be the advantage. It worked out for me of doing it this way instead of just trying to guess how these go by pre-assembling it. Now this one's a little hard to get to. It's underneath the, why can I not think is that like a Pitman arm? I don't know what that is. I can't think of the name of it. But it's underneath that. It's gonna be a little tough. There we go. I got it pulled back. There we go. I think that worked. And then the last thing we need to do is make this connection back here, just because I don't want this flopping around. And it just makes a connection right there. Easy enough. Again, I'll pull kind of out of the way, put some glue there. I think this will be good enough. I didn't really clean it up very well, but I think we're going to be okay if I hold that a second. It's not a structural joint, I guess you could say. If I hold that just a second, I think we'll be okay. We'll have to not forget to put this in real quick because that's going to go. Now here's, I was actually wondering about this the other day. If we put this in, the pump and pulleys, how does that? So this just connects. Yeah, the drive shaft's going to come in here and just connect right there, right? Is that right? Yes, it's going to connect there. But my point is, they have us putting the motor in. You probably can't even see what I'm pointing at here. Let me scoot all this forward. If we put the motor in, we have that in. How do we get the drive shaft? Like, we'll need to put the drive shaft in, I would think, at the same time as the motor, right? That way we can put it in the tail shaft of the transmission. This peg here has to go in there. I think that was your input shaft. It has to go in there. But if it's already set in place, we wouldn't be able to get it in, right? So I think we're gonna have to put the drive shaft in at the same time as the motor. We'll obviously put this on first though. Let me see, did that glue up? Yeah, I think we're okay. Now let's get this guy. How much time do we have? Okay, we have plenty of time. Let's get this guy mounted in. I should have done this first. It would have been a lot easier if I'd done this before I put the rear end in. I don't know why I didn't go ahead and attach it to it. Whoops. So let's see. How are we going to do this? What's going to be the easiest way to do this? Yeah, I really should have. Let me clean this up real quick, I think. We should have done this. All my overthinking, I should have done this first. I mean, they show it being put in in this order that I'm doing it now, but I've been trying to think ahead of Monogram. They don't necessarily think about the order of operations necessarily. They just, put it here, put it there, put it, here's where it goes, there's where it goes. And I kind of overlooked this. This should have really been put in before. And then there's a little bit of flashing here I need to get out of this hole that's going to be our mounting point. Try to clean that out of there. There we go. I think that's going to be better. And then it goes this way. So I'm going to clean up this side. This is where, the flat side's where I really took the paint off on the other one. So this side of this little peg guy here. All right, now let's see. Go ahead and put some glue. And then let's see if we can get this to make connection. Put some inside there. All right. Now this is going to be easier said than done because I can't get my fingers down in there. I wonder if I set it on its tail like this. It might be the way to do it. Yeah. I just got to get that. It fits in a very specific way. It's got like a half moon key. It's kind of keyed how it goes in. Hoping it fits in there. Probably should dry fit this a little better. That's really pretty close. There we go. There we go. Okay, so that's got that guy in. Nice. Okay, yeah, and like I said, I think I'm going to let that dry up a little bit, but I think we'll try to put the motor and the drive shaft in at the same time. Then we'll go in and put the exhaust over top of that. We, of course, have to have our header locations or our collector locations to know where the exhaust goes. Yeah, I think what I can do, because this is going to have to run underneath here, right? Underneath our... I'm trying to think what the best way to do this is. I think just put this here and then try to put our motor in. Where does our motor connect? These are basically our motor mounts here. Where do they mount on the motor itself? There. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to dry up, I'm gonna try to clean this up a little bit. It's gonna sit in here. So I'm gonna pull the paint off of these little tabs. That way we get a good, I want to make sure the motor glues in well, obviously. I mean, we could, the way we're doing this, we could just have the motor sitting on a stand or something, but I think we'll put it in the car. We'll put it in the car and just have the hood off, See if we can. Yeah, there's two little nubs on here that's going to sit in those notches. Okay, that's good on the motor side. All right, let's flip this back over. So the shaft's in there. Well, it fell out, but that's okay. And then they're going to sit in these little notches here. So I've got to get the paint cleaned out. I should have done this again prior. Forethought is always the best option, but I don't always have a lot of it. Just want to make sure and really get a clean spot for us to glue to. Right, I think that's going to be okay. Now, what's our best way to do this? I still think we're going to need to go ahead and set the drive shaft in. Well, I'm wondering if I should go ahead and put a drop of glue on it, on the back, and then just set the motor assembly in. I think that's what I'm going to do, and then we'll go from there because we'll have some time with this glue back here. So what I'm going to do, but it'll keep my idea is it'll stay soft for us so we can move the drive shaft around, but it'll be sticky enough to hold, well, hopefully to keep it from falling out of place. Okay, I'm very carefully because I don't want to get this glue everywhere. Set that right there like that. Now, can I flip this like that? Yep, it's staying in place. I think it did. Let me get us I'm just going to kind of put a glob of glue down here on each one of these motor mounts. And then we'll try to set the motor in here. Hold this, I'm holding it. Okay, yeah. Now we've got to make that rear end connect, or the drive shaft connection. Oh, okay, Liz. Come on, slide back. I need the motor to slide back for me. Why are we not moving? Let me see what's going on up top here. Yeah, motor needs to slide back, and I think it's the headers hold. Is it the headers holding this up? What's hitting? We're almost where we need to be. What's holding us up? I've had this motor in before. I think it's the headers. What in the world? It's been in before and set in just nice. Now it's not wanting to go in. It's definitely not the drive shaft because we're not far enough back. I can't tell what's even hitting to stop us. Are we hitting the firewall? I mean, we're so close, and we're just not coming far enough. Just not far enough back. Just barely not far enough back. Did that do that? I had dry fit this 100 times. If you saw the previous thumbnails, I have the motor in and it was sitting in nicely. Now I don't know why it's not. What am I hitting? Oh, I think it might be hitting there. There's where it was. It was on. Okay, got it. It was hitting right here on the tail end of the. Okay, that's fit in. And of course, the drive shaft came out. So let's see if we can push it. And yep, this is exactly what I was afraid of. So now I can't get. Yeah. Now you couldn't get the drive shaft in, and it broke the pump off. Okay, so what's the game plan now? Because we are son of a. Let's just quickly get some glue back on here, and let's see if we can get all three pieces in at the same time. This is also where it helps to let things fully dry, obviously, before you do this. But we're on, we're always on a time crunch here. Okay, get back in your place. Now let's get you back into your place, but this time with the drive shaft in place, which I didn't do again. There we go. It's a little hard to get all of them to meet up at the same time. Get in there. I was hoping we get a little flex out of the drive shaft. There we go. Are you on the motor? That's on the motor mounts. That's on the transmission mount. Is that? Yeah, that's in the hole for where that goes. Okay. Okay. Well, there we go. That is actually all lined up. We were in that hole. We're in that hole. There's actually a little, I didn't realize it, but there was a peg right here. Let me point with this. There's a peg right here that went into the tail shaft of the transmission. And that's what we were hitting on, was that peg. And then finally I was able to kind of flex it above it and it popped right in. And then that's our little engine mounts. They fell right into place. So there we go. I think I'm going to go ahead and just dry fit the exhaust. Let's see what this looks like. We're about to run out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and dry fit this exhaust. It's maybe going to need some work to get it to make it fit up perfect. Yeah, I'm going to have to just pull the headers together a little bit like that. There we go. And then they just kind of sit right on the side of the rails. That's going to be all right. But before, oh, it's kind of sitting there. I'm going to let all this motor stuff, I'm going to let everything dry up real well. The glue all dry up. I think I popped this front end loose a little bit too. So I'm going to touch that up. Yeah, and then I'll go ahead and put in the exhaust. You can see exactly how it's going to sit there. And that'll have us actually done to here. We've got these two little bars that go in. You know what, I think I'm going to go ahead and do those two in between the episodes. They're just little bars that sit right here. I'll go ahead and get those glued in between episodes. That way we can just move right on to step 6, which what is even step 6? Let's see if we can find out here. What are we going to be doing next? Looks like we're going to be doing the dashboard, the steering column, all that kind of stuff is next. Then we got front end work, so a little bit of engine bay stuff. And then it comes to the body. And when we get here, we'll talk about what we're going to do with the body because it's got some issues, kind of previous owner issues. But we'll look at that when it comes time. But I think I'll get us all finished up with what we've got going here. Get us to, so we can start with step, let me bring it back so you can see, start with step 6. Next time we get together, I think that's going to do us for now. Looks pretty good. Sitting in there nice and flat, and yeah, it looks pretty good. I like it. I like it. Okay, so let me let this dry up. Well, I'll see you next time. In fact, before I see you next time, go ahead and hit that like button. And leave me some comments down below. It really helps if you leave a comment. And then subscribe if you would. If this is something you've been interested in, go ahead and subscribe. Catch all these videos when they come out. Check the playlist if you missed any, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Here we go.